Welcome to the Real Estate Leading Edge podcast, where every week we interview a top producing agent who will share with you exactly how to grow your business and live the life of your dreams.
Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Leading Edge podcast with the two best hosts, Sherry Saad and Shadi Bezzi.
And the amazing Mr. Ollie Jaafar this week. Ollie Jaafar.
Welcome, Ollie.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Are you nervous?
No, actually. I feel very comfortable around you two for some odd reason.
Okay, you should be nervous.
Two celebrities. Did he see what he...
Our audience,
Two celebrities.
No.
One celebrity.
No.
That's the number one of the sidekicks.
All right, well, we got an exciting show for you guys today. Ollie is someone who has not been in real estate for a very long time, but someone who I've been watching from the background, and I've been very impressed with some of the things that he's doing, and more importantly than just what he's doing, how he is juggling a dual career right now successfully in both careers. And I thought he would be the perfect guest because there's a lot of people in real estate that come into real estate. You know, the end goal is to do it full time, but they gotta go through a transition. Okay, and I'm not sure if that is, you know, what his goal is to finally make a transition or not. But he is doing a killer job in both. So Ollie, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, let them know, you know, who you are, where you work out of, how long you've been in real estate, why'd you get involved in real estate, and just answer all 5 questions I just asked you at the same time.
Absolutely. So of course, my name's Ali Jaafar. I am from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. I'm a real estate agent out of Reedmax Leading Edge at the Canton office. So working a little bit here and there, but I'm also a full-time public school teacher. I teach at a high school in the Detroit area. Loving both jobs and both careers. I don't like to say I work part-time at anything. I work 2 full-time jobs because I give 100% to both careers. Yeah, it's a little bit about myself. You know, I had to move around the country a little bit to get my teaching stuff going, and then fast forward to about 2 years ago, I had a conversation with one of my cousins about flipping homes. He's like, "Oh, I got this, you should get your license, we'll go to business together." I'm like, "Sounds great." Sure enough, I did my end of it, and he didn't, and so I was like, "Hey, let's just try this realtor thing and see how it goes," and learning, you know, the ropes, and slowly and surely, and getting, you know, good mentorship and good lessons one way or another. It's worked out pretty well so far.
Terrific. So how long, like, when did this take place? Like, so how long you been, like, actively selling real estate?
My first transaction was March of last year. So that's a little over a year since my first
About
transaction.
15 months.
Yeah, so my
15
first
months into
transaction.
business.
I went about 6 months completely dry before that.
Mm-hmm.
And never really blinked. I was like, all right, it's gonna happen, keep working, keep the process going, and things will kinda go, so.
Terrific. So you got involved in real estate, so we can say maybe like 18 months ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And you didn't get a transaction from the get-go.
no.
I want to talk about that for a minute because, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, they think that the Mercedes comes with the license.
They do. When you have agents that come into this business and they're in the business already for a month, 2 months, they're like, "Where's the business?"
Exactly. So a lot of people within 1 month, 2 months, maybe 3 months, they would have given up. They'd be like, "Well, this career is not right for me. You know, where's the deals? Where's the money?" Because, you know, you're commission based. It took you about 6 months to get your first deal. What was your mindset like during that 6 month, and how did you, you know, like go from like this thing may not work, is it working, to getting that first deal, and what did that feel like, etc.?
Well, my mindset went to becoming a student, and it's kind of backtracking, but learning as much as I can from whoever wants to teach me, and becoming a sponge. And it's learning from Sherry, learning from Lewis, who's in this office, from Robert, from Sam, from anyone who's willing to talk to me. I would just attract to them, get as much as I can out of them, and try to learn as much as I can. In the meantime, I'm telling people, "Hey, I'm selling real estate. How can I help you?" Whether it's my network, whether it's, you know, learning how to cold call. There was a morning, it's probably middle of winter, my first year. Robert was here at 7 a.m. I walked in with him at 7 a.m. and shadowed him until about 11 o'clock, just watching him make cold calls, and learning the process. To me, that's brand new. Being a teacher, we don't have to cold call anybody. We have our student list, and all right, here's your customers, your clients you have to handle for the whole year. Real estate, you don't get that. You have to learn how to earn your clients.
Right.
So.
Right. So for you, you came into it with the mindset of like, okay, well, it's a brand new industry for me. You know, I'm a teacher, right? Okay. I teach people, and my expectation is when I'm teaching is for them to consume the lesson, right?
Yep.
So you came in as a student.
As a student, absolutely.
I like
Being
that.
like, there's a lot that I need to learn. Okay, so let me learn as much as I possibly can. Who can I learn it from? And then let me apply it. So you weren't like hindered by the thought of like, oh, I haven't done a transaction. You came into it with the right mindset.
I almost look at it as an opportunity.
Okay.
I mean, how many times do you get to be able to learn as much as you can without worrying about, you know, I might get this sale, I might get this sale. It's, you know, that's the fortunate part of having that other income coming in where I could afford to, all right, use this as a time to learn.
Right.
And master your craft and learn what you need to teach your clients. You know, I like to tell my clients or teach my clients, hey, my goal for you is to learn as much as you have to know so you can make an educated decision of what's going on as opposed to me trying to sell them on something.
Right. So you're 6 months into the business, you finally get your first transaction, hip hop hooray, you know, you're clapping, you're excited. Did you do back jumps?
Front flips. I'm more
Front flips.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get your career going. Did it take off from there, or did it like, you know, was there another like dry period?
It was about another 2 months or so. It was a little dry period. And then after about those 2 months, I started averaging about one transaction a month. As a second income, that's a difference maker for me.
But
Right.
you still were doing 2 full-time jobs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So, 2 full-time jobs.
How do you do your daily schedule? Can you elaborate a little bit on how you control 2 full-time jobs? What does your daily schedule consist of?
My alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow. Okay. Great. Yeah.
and
Good for you.
Yeah, it's
I commend you.
it's not the easiest alarm, but you know, you get used to it after a couple years of doing it. And it goes off 4:30 in the morning. Between 4:30 and 5:30 is my time, right? And which is really trying to, you know, center myself, figure out what's going on for the day, journaling, trying to read something short, trying to get a positive mindset. Even if it's going through social media and seeing, you know, all right, I can't find something to read, let me find something to look at, kind of give me in a good mood for the day, you know, so I can get the day going head on. Between 5:30 and 6, I'm following up on emails that I missed over midnight, you know, whether it's, you know, requests for, you know, showings or clients or, you know, mortgage people, whatever it is, following up with those in the morning.
Great.
Head to work, get my teaching day going. My prep period at teaching is second hour. So during second hour, it's real estate stuff. And then at lunchtime, it's real estate stuff. And then after school, I'm either prospecting or meeting with clients. And that usually goes on till about 8 o'clock at night. I get home, try to get a little bit of me time in there if I can. If I can't, then it's prospecting, following up on social media, getting the day going, usually in bed by 10:30, and then restart in the morning.
You said a couple things that you in the morning one of your daily routines is to find something positive to get your day going.
Mhm.
How important is that?
Oh, it's the way I thrive. It's my energy.
Really?
It's I mean, people love caffeine. People love whatever. It's being around positive people or positive thoughts. Even if it's listening to something funny to make me laugh in the morning, it drives me to keep going.
Great.
I like to tell my students, hey, I want you to leave my class with a smile, whether it's something you learned or something, you know, a joke we said or whatever it was, to help you have a positive day as well. I feel like being positive is very infectious. Being around positive people is very infectious, and so you want that to kind of, you know, illuminate from you, radiate from you.
So you got a foundation for how you begin your day. You got obviously a foundation for how, you know, you manage your, you know, teaching career. Then you got a foundation for how you manage, you know, your real estate career. Okay. Do you ever find that to be difficult for you? Like, how do you keep that balance? Because I'm sure in real estate, there's a demanding buyer that only wants to see a property at a specific time or a specific day. And then, you know, you may have an obligation to be in class at that time. How do you manage that?
Well, I tell my clients straight up, hey, this is kind of what I am. I'm a full-time teacher. This is my schedule day to day. If that doesn't work for them, unfortunately, I won't be able to be the right agent for them. Thankfully, I have a lot of real estate partners, especially in this office, who are willing to help me out, whether it's middle of the day. And for example, I had a client last week who wanted to see a house at 2 o'clock on a Friday. I can't get out of work that early, right? Much I want to sometimes, I can't get out of work that early. So I called an agent and said, hey, do you want to see this house? Can you help them out? And they were willing to help out. And that's the relationships and the teamwork you find at a quality brokerage, you know, and that's the one thing I do like working where I do is we work together, you know, we push each other to be great. We push each other to learn more, to, hey, have you heard this? You know, we're updating each other on different articles and stuff coming out. But it's also, you're willing to help each other out. Hey, I need help with this one client. You got my back. Yeah, I got you. Great. I got you next time. And there's that relationship you build.
Awesome, I love
Yeah,
that. I mean,
I do.
you know, that right there.
Well, he's taking control of his business also too. So he controls his business. He doesn't allow the clients to control him.
Right.
Yeah. And
You
sometimes
know, and he said something. What he does is what he's doing is he's setting up the expectations ahead of time. Because you know, as a coach that coaches agents from all over the country, it's a challenge for a lot of people. And I always find that the obstacle is not in the client, the obstacle is in them because they're not setting the expectation. And if you're not setting the expectation for the client, then what's happening is the client is setting the expectation for you.
Yep.
And then you find yourself jumping, you know, all the hurdles and everything trying to accommodate that one person, you know, versus the other way around. And it's not about like taking advantage of a client or anything like that. It's just like, I want to be able to serve you at the best and highest level. And here's the way that I can do it. And if we are a fit, then let's work with each other. And if we're not a fit, I have another team member that could assist you and maybe a better fit for you. So either way, it becomes a win-win-win-win
Yes.
situation.
and as long as that client is getting, well, I know they're getting full, you know, quality service, whether it's from me or from one of my partners, it's, you know, life's good. You know, they're getting what they need, we're getting what we need, and we're, you know, it's all a very, you know, good relationship.
Love
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love the way you balance your time. You know, so your balance time, how important that is to have your whole day balanced out.
Oh, it's incredible. My Google Calendar is everything to me.
Is it color coordinated?
It's getting there.
Should we see it?
It's getting
Can you show
it's
me?
getting there. It's getting
Let's take a
there.
look.
Flash picture.
It's incredible because it's, you know, you have my daily routine, but there's things that come up middle of the day, whether it's, you know, an online training or it's like, all right, Wednesdays, you know, the office has an online Q&A.
Yes.
And thankfully the Wednesday is the only day of the week I can actually get in the Q&A because then my lunch is backed up just a little bit and I can get on for 15 minutes. And it's a working lunch. It's always a working lunch, but this time it's not following up in emails. It's learning a bit or reaching out saying, hey, I have an issue with XYZ. Can you give me the ABC? And you know, it's being able to plan ahead as much as possible. There's a lot of, you know, office events I won't be able to make it. And, you know, I let, you know, our office manager know right away, hey, I appreciate the invite. Middle of the day, can't make it. You know, but I appreciate the invites, and there's some things I can make too, and if anything I can make, I definitely try to make.
So you have to be committed. You have to be committed to your passion for both jobs. If you're not committed, then it's not going to work because you have a lot of agents that come into real estate part-time because they do have a full-time job, but they're not committed. You know, there's always an excuse. But with you, there's never an excuse.
Well, I think the excuse comes in what you just said. They're coming in at part-time.
Yeah.
This isn't a part-time job.
Yeah.
This is a full-time job. You have to do 100% into it.
Absolutely.
And being able to balance two full-time jobs is tough. But you got to treat them like a full-time job if you want to be successful in it.
And I think you're doing that. And the reason you're able to do that is because, you know, I can go as far as saying that there's a lot of people that go to work and they come home 8 hours later. And they're in the mindset that they actually work for 8 hours. But if you really were observing everything that they did, they probably only worked 2 to 3 hours that day and wasted another 5 hours.
Absolutely.
So for you, is what you're saying is, you know, maybe if you count my hours, it may be part-time, but I am really full-time in the business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's maybe counting the hours, about 35 hours a week.
Okay, so that's pretty much full-time.
Yeah, it's there's not much downtime, and personal relationships and family have been very accommodating to me. But
That's very important.
It really is. Your support system is huge.
Yeah.
And I have a group of buddies I golf with, and they're like, all right, no real estate calls when you get on the course. I'm like, great. Well, I'm walking the tee box, I'm making a real estate call. I'm walking off the tee box, I'm making a call, but I'm not on the course. So,
Right.
but it's having, you know, people understand that your goals are important to you as much as their relationship is.
Right.
And you know, if I can achieve my goals, that means our relationships will be stronger because I can afford to do more stuff with you.
Right,
you know?
right. Let's talk about goals, okay? What are like some of your goals for the future for yourself in real estate?
I've envisioned myself and truly, obviously after, the financial freedom I'm looking for and everything else, is I want to own rental properties.
Okay.
To kind of get that, the more the passive income coming in, but also in the same sense, being able to diversify my portfolio.
Absolutely, that's the key. You should.
Well, if you sell real estate, you might as well own some, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, if you ain't buying your product, how do you gonna sell the product, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it's.
Well, that's how we invest as realtors in our future too. It's like our 401k. We own a couple rental properties, and that's our residuals. That's how we get, our retirement.
Yep.
I have a small background in sales before I got into real estate, and they were really big on residual income and learning how to create it and how to maintain it was huge. And so I'm looking forward to this point where my career, where I can kind of transition from just a sales agent to being a loan
Entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, take that money out of that 401k and invest it in the dirt, in the soil, in the properties.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. Land right now, just buy any land, any vacant land. It's gonna always increase no matter what.
I have quite a few on my list.
Sales pitch, shameless plug, right?
So you're able to balance both careers full time.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
You know what? I wanted to congratulate you. I know that this month, what did you have? 5-6 closings?
4.
4 closings. Yes.
One's
Good job, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
We're gonna repeat next month?
Every
yes.
month. Every month.
Yes.
Every month.
Love it.
Every month. It's I set and we had a conversation maybe a few weeks ago, and I'm very happy with where I'm at, but I'm not satisfied from where I'm at. So I want more, and
you should want more.
I want more and more, and once I meet the goal I have in my mind, I want to double that, just because I know there's stuff in me to be able to do it. Now I just need it to, put it.
In real estate, you can never be content. You always have to, set your goals higher than what you did last year, and then again and again and again. Pretty soon you're going to be way up there with the stars.
Game plan. That's a game plan.
Yeah.
There was an agent I went on a listening presentation with, and I was like, how do I do this? And she responds with, I'm not a normal agent. I go, but you're a successful agent, and I don't want, if being a normal agent isn't successful, I don't want to be it. And so I try to shadow and get near agents who are at the top, because that's what I want to emulate.
Well, you're a product of your environment.
Absolutely.
And mentorship. I mean, who you are is already, you're a mentor to your students.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't appreciate mentorship, and if you don't seek mentorship, then who is?
Correct.
So let's talk about mentorship and how important is mentorship and what kind of mentorship you're getting and who you're getting it from.
Well, first and foremost, I get it from my parents. I get a lot of it from my parents. That work ethic and being able to work 15 hours a day, I get that from my dad, and treating people with respect and like their family, I get that from my mom. And that's more important than anything else. When it comes to business-wise, obviously Sherry's been a great mentor to me. She's taught me lessons, easy way and hard way. But they're learned one way or another.
We got more money, right?
Absolutely,
client, right?
absolutely. There's a program here that she helped me out with where I got to shadow and get mentored by a seasoned agent. Lewis, and my first 3 or 4 transactions was there every step of the way, answering any questions I wanted. Sometimes I'm pretty sure I annoyed him, but he was willing to help, whether it's...
He's like your voice of reason.
Absolutely. Robert, when I was shadowing him, Sam Sacco, when I was shadowing him, and with his trainings he does in the mornings, there's so much to learn here from so many successful people that it's constantly coming, and I'm always learning. I've been in it for 18 months now, and every transaction or every conversation I'm having with an agent is something I'm learning, and I'm trying to retain as much as I can. It's incredible.
Just having a conversation with an agent, about anything, a veteran agent, you're learning from just that conversation.
Well, they say success leaves clues, you know what I mean? And then, if there's anything that you ever want to do or accomplish in life, find someone who's already done it and just model them, model their behavior, model their actions, and model their skills. So let's talk a little bit about skills, okay? Because I'm sure it's different to speak to a student than it is to speak to an adult who's about to make the largest investment of their life.
Yeah, but before you go, Ali's an educator. So, you know what, the clients that he's working with, whether it's a student or clients, he's still educating them on real estate. So the clients his clients, and he's going to take it a step to another level because he's a teacher, he's an
Right.
educator. So the clients that he's working with should be privileged to work with him. I'm being honest.
That's very humbling. Thank you. But no, she actually took the words right out of my mouth. It's just a conversation. There's nothing more. I teach my students by talking to them and not at them, but with them and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the process of doing it. For my clients, let's say they're a home buyer, I give them a home buying curriculum. Here is the sheet, right? We start from the very top. Here are my partners I'm working with, the inspector, the other agent, so on and so forth, right? Here's what we're looking for together. And it's a conversation we're having. All right, well, what are you pre-approved for? Oh, you're not pre-approved? Well, how do we get to that process? And we talk about it. Like, who are the people to talk to? What do you need to do? And the more information they have, it makes things 1,000 times easier for me because they're learning everything. They know what to do, right? Now we can just go to the process together. So
Right.
when I have to ask them for an EMD, they're like, oh, why do you want 1% or 2% from me? Well, they know that beforehand that, hey, we want to secure this house for us so we can move forward. This is what we need to do it. And they know that from the very beginning. We set those expectations that we talked about earlier that, once they get it, we're good.
So it's always good to have that first conversation with the client versus, hey, I'll meet you at the property and we'll get to meet each other. No, bring them into the classroom, educate them.
Yeah, whether
I like that. Bring them into the classroom.
Educate them.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
Starbucks or someone's living room or whatever it is, it's everywhere is a classroom as long as you're willing to share information with someone.
Love it, love it. How do you get your business?
I'd love to say friends and family, but it's
Friends and family, send them more.
no. I love my friends and family, and it's funny because there's 5 realtors in my family, which is whatever. It is what it is. And the funny thing is, we help each other out, we work together, and so on and so forth. And my friends, my close circle of friends, they'll refer me business, right? But I've never sold any of them a house yet. But a lot of it's social media. I'm a big believer in social media. My time is very limited. I use social media to my advantage. I promote myself. I give content for people so they're able to get information from me as opposed to just seeing, oh, hey, buy from me. It's
Hey, I sold a home.
Yeah, but again, he's educating them.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
giving value.
Yes.
and that's the thing is why do they want to follow me on social media? Oh, because I'm gonna learn how to save money towards my retirement, or I'm gonna learn how to redo my kitchen, or I'm gonna do whatever it is. And I try to give a few posts a week, something about my personal life, so they know, hey, I'm still a human. I always talk about my successes. I will talk occasionally about my failures, just because you gotta stay humble.
I seldomly see those, Ollie.
Huh?
I seldomly see
I
those.
don't have them.
I know.
He's graduated.
Yeah. No, and that's the one thing where it's, you promote yourself as much as possible, but you got to give value. And that's where social media comes in handy, because when I'm in the middle of first period, my Facebook's posting something that I've already scheduled to post.
Yeah.
So it's up there, it's doing its thing. Whether it's, a trusted site I use or some trusted resources I use to post that.
Or the tools that
Absolutely.
Leading Edge provides.
Absolutely. I have those set up where they're automatic, and now my network's getting it while I'm focused on job number 1 or job A, and it works for me pretty well.
See, so you still are working 2 full-time jobs because you have somebody on the back end, taking care of all of that for you. Isn't it amazing how technology these days have come?
Yeah.
And he's become like you're leveraging, your time. You're leveraging social media. You're leveraging your network. You're like leveraging everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's more like in terms of putting systems in place. So obviously you have a system in place for just about every moving part of your business. Like what you just described right now, I bring the buyer into the classroom and I walk up, like you already have a system in place.
Absolutely.
Here's step number 1, here's the people that we're gonna be working with, here's what I expect from you, here's what I need from you, here's what you need to know. Once we find the property, here's what's gonna happen, etc. That right there is a system.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you're putting systems in place. How important is it for our audience to really take a look at their business and audit every moving part of their business and put systems in place?
It's huge. I mean, and time's the only non-renewable resource.
Yeah.
Out of everything, right? You can get more money, you can get more fuel, you can't get more time.
No.
And you're either wasting time or you're using it properly. And whether, you're going towards your goal or you want to sit down and watch Netflix for 3 hours, that's your choice. But to help
Unless it's real estate related, then you could sit for 3 hours.
But you're learning at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're learning at that point. And so you got to be very purposeful with your actions. But having systems in place help you manage your time, but also not waste your time.
Right.
I I'm very, I guess, unfortunate where I don't have time to waste, or I'm fortunate, I guess you could say.
You're very disciplined.
Because if I start getting lax and start wasting time and stuff, then you get complacent. And we talked earlier,
Yes.
if you get complacency, it's basically a death sentence.
Ali, I want to share something with the audience. Ali Jaafar for 2018 got Rising Star for Remix Leading Edge.
Thank you.
Rising Star.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a big honor. I was pretty surprised actually. It was,
We wanted to surprise you with that.
yeah, it was actually one of those events that I couldn't make because I was working, and I had a fellow realtor take a picture of the screen, and I saw that, and he was a pretty religious guy, and I go, holy shit! I'm sorry.
We gotta prove that out. How did that make you feel? Do you feel like like all the hard work and the accomplishments?
It was humbling because I was seeing, okay, I'm able to make an achievement like that when other agents are here twice as much as I am, and I was able to compete against them with it, which was pretty great. But then I saw other agents' numbers, and now it drives me to say, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do
Yes.
it. And that's what I like about this place is, you're happy for everybody,
Yeah.
but they're pushing you to do more.
Yeah.
And whether it's, you becoming a better, prospector or a better, salesperson or an educator or whatever it is, they're pushing you to be the best you can be. And if you're not that good yet, they're going to make you that good.
Love it.
And that's what I love about working here.
Love
it's just infectious to be around them.
Love it. So let's go back to the question of how do you get your business.
Mhm.
So you said you get some from friends and family. Okay. You're getting some off of social media. Are you doing anything else to generate business for yourself?
I'm working on prospecting.
Okay.
It hasn't been as successful as I want it to be,
Okay.
but I have learned that you have to constantly diversify, whether it's your
Yes.
skills or your income or whatever it is. And if the market shifts in one way or another, I want to be prepared for what I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm learning to prospect. It doesn't come natural for me to cold call people, but you have to be uncomfortable sometimes to learn how to be successful. And that it's a process. I'm trying to make, I have very limited time for it. So when I'm doing it, it's dialers are going, you're constantly going, you're trying to, talk to as many people as possible, try to get those contacts. And it's getting there. And
So again, if I'm hearing it correctly, what you're saying is just like when you started off in real estate in the beginning, it was like, I'm the student, let me learn how to do what I need to do to get my first transaction. Now it's like you're the student again.
Mhm.
How do I become, effective on the phones? What do I say? What do I say? How do I say it? So you can go out there and do it.
Absolutely.
And you're practicing.
Always.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, always.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're definitely moving in the right direction.
That's the game plan.
Beautiful. So let me ask you a question, and this is like a good question. I think it's a good
Are
question.
you sure it's a good question?
I'm positive it's a good question. Is there a question that you feel that I should have asked you that I haven't asked you that I should ask you?
Oh, that's a great one.
By the way,
But you
every
ever-
time I ask that question, no one can come up with a question. So let's see
it's
if you can break it.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
okay.
She saved you.
I saved you so that way you can,
Save
I
it
actually
back later.
got one.
Okay, then go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
I feel like the question that I'd love to talk about is more based around customer service.
Okay.
Oh,
How
yeah.
you treat your
Good.
clients.
Absolutely, I love that.
And I tell my clients, I'm gonna treat you like I'm gonna treat my family, right?
Mhm.
Might want to smack you over the head every now and then, but your family, right? We're gonna take care of you, we're gonna make sure you're taken care of. I had a client of mine recently. I was unable to, show her the house, and it was frustrating. But once again, we called one of our partners and we're like, "Hey, can you help us out?" They took care of that, and so I'm driving up north Memorial Day weekend. She gives me a call. "Hey, I love the house. I want to write the offer." Okay, great. I'll be in my location in about 2 hours. She goes, "I don't know if it's gonna last that long because the market's hot.
Yeah,
Things are on the market.
absolutely.
They're off the market right away."
Make yourself available.
I'm like, "All right, great. Let me call the agent. Hey, how are you?" Have that pre-conversation with the agent before I write an offer.
Mhm.
Hey, what's it gonna take to get this closed? What's it gonna take to get this accepted? Let's not waste time. Help your client. Help my client. Let's all be happy. I'm driving, having this conversation. I'm like, great. I'm in the middle of nowhere up north. I pull over to Tim Hortons, steal their Wi-Fi. Thanks, Tim Hortons.
We don't steal, we
Thanks,
borrow.
Tim.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
borrowed.
yeah. It cost me a coffee. Thank you.
Yes.
And wrote the offer. And my buddies are waiting for me up north because hey, let's golf, let's do this. And my buddies know real estate's gonna come first, always. So wrote the offer. By the time I got to my destination, the other agent calls me, hey, we're accepting your offer, let's move forward, bing, bang, move. And I called her, she was shocked. She goes, really? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And this is after months of unsuccessful, house hunting, and in the market, for her area it was a little bit tough, but she was ecstatic that hey, we're past this first step. And then I was more happy than myself that I went the extra mile to stop my personal plans to take care of her, because she's become a family member. I see her 3 times a week. I see her probably more than my mother, and she's like, hey, I appreciate it and this and this, and she's so grateful and thankful that it makes me happy that she's happy, and so that was the one thing that kind of like, I don't know, I kind of had to step back and just kind of like pat myself on the back for it, like, yeah, good job, and I was very happy about that one. So.
Back to technology. Back in the day, we had to handwrite those offers and stuff. We were able to stop. I mean, the tools and resources now that the brokerage provides, that you're able to stop at a Tim Hortons to write a contract, a legal contract now, and get it signed and accepted. Isn't that amazing?
It's very convenient for someone who's always on the go. Having your systems in place, whether it's some based on from the brokerage or something you do yourself, to help you be successful when you need it. It's key.
And that's why you should always work with pre-approved buyers, because you never know, when that house is gonna come, they're gonna find that house and it's multiple offers. A lot of buyers, by educating them to get that, they're always ahead.
That was actually a conversation I had with her, because she was able to go through the Mishta loan, which is a great program for first-time home buyers to get help them with their down payment. She's also approved conventional as well. And so we had both those bullets ready to go. And so I called the agent. I'm like, hey, what's it going to take? Well, he goes, we want a quicker closing. I'm like, okay, check. And then we want this. I'm like, great, let's go with it. So I called the rep. I'm like, hey, I know you want to use the Mishta, but if you want the house, we're going to try to go through the conventional. She goes, all right, trust you, get it done. And when she trusted me to get the job done, and that's all I had to do is get the job done.
Love it. Congratulations.
So that wasn't a difficult buyer. So how do you deal with difficult buyers?
That's a good question, because I'm sure you especially limited on time. I'm not even gonna say limited on time, just, structuring your time.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a difficult buyer, how do you deal with that?
Well, it's when, we talked about earlier about setting those expectations early. Right? Hey, this is my time schedule. Let me know if it's gonna work for you. If it's not, no problem. I'm gonna find something for you. Now, after we've had that conversation, then things start changing. Oh, my schedule's changed, and this and this and this. All right, great. You try to talk to them and having a conversation. Hey, we talked about this prior. We had this in place. If it's not gonna work with you, let me know. I mean, I'm not to be a jerk, or if someone's not willing to make a proper offer, and sometimes you have to teach them a hard lesson. Hey, you really wanted that house, but since you didn't want to, put the extra 0.5% on your EMD, or you were, you want a 20-day inspection as opposed to 7 days or 10-day inspection, right? That's why you're losing the house. You're going against other people with very strong offers, so you're trying to make your offer the champion. Like, how do you make it a champ? Whether it's the inspection and making the proper time period, or sometimes the title company who you're using, and how do you work to make it work?
Love it. I want to mention something. I've heard you say a word numerous times today, is that you never addressed any of the other agents that we work with as agents or competitors or anything like that. You kept on using the word partner. And, that's so important, because, a lot of times what we do is we take a look at other agents, and we take a look at them as our competition. We take a look at them as we don't want them to see what it is that we're doing, because we don't want them to take away our secrets or whatever it is. But, when you come from the mindset of like, hey, we are partners, hey, we are a team, everybody wins. Just like, you could have showed a property, you had a partner show the property for you, you won, the client won, and the other agent won. Absolutely. Your trust, the other agent won, your friendship, the other agent won your support for the remainder of their career.
And that's the key, and having that trust and that partnership and the relationship built in. You understand that I win, you win, we all win. And it's not cutthroat. It's not, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna do this. And there's agents from other brokerages who, obviously I'm referring my business to my partners first, but I'm working with them as well to make sure their client's happy as much as mine happy. So whether it's one down the street or whatever it is, we're all working together to make our clients happy. I will never never, ever, ever steal a client from someone, because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me.
Yeah.
You treat others
There's
like
ethics.
you treat others like you
You're
want to be
very
treated.
ethical.
Yep.
And it's the golden rule. And you treat them with respect. You treat them as they're a professional, because they are, and they're gonna do. And hopefully they come around and do the same to you.
Love it.
Kill them with kindness.
I hug them.
Hug them with kindness.
There we go.
Hug
There we
them
go.
with kindness. Love it. Well, hey man, I just want to say thank you very much for carving out the time out of your dual career
I appreciate that.
to be here with us today and to make a difference for our audience that listen week in and week out. We want to give as much value as we possibly can, and I think you've given some great nuggets today, because there's people out there that may be having a hard time, leveraging their time, or I think a big aha moment for a lot of people is going to be is where you said, hey, I set the expectation up front. I treat every single person as if they are entering my classroom, and it is my job, it's my duty to make sure I give them the education so they can make a right decision at the end of the day. The right decision to either work with me, to either buy a home, sell a home, is now the right time, etc. And you're constantly giving a lot of value online as well too. So before we wrap up, Sherry, do you have any final questions or any comments you want to make on his behalf as his broker?
I see, a new slogan for Ali is Ali Jaafar, the real estate educator.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I like that.
I see you 5 years from now on top of the world, like as a mentor, as having your own brokerage one day. Yes,
Love
I see
it.
that.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, that's very, very kind words, Sharon.
Yeah.
I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Cool. So here's how we like to end the show every single week. We like to end the show by each one of us sharing a quote and each one of us making a book recommendation. So you're about to get 3 quotes and you're about to get 3 books to add to your list of books to read.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right,
Ladies first, right?
Ladies first.
Isn't that
Yeah, that's it.
My book recommendation is Getting Things Done by David Allen.
Excellent book. I mean, I've read that book, and that book is all about pretty much what he talked about
Yes.
today, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. All right, okay, so that's your book recommendation. What's your book recommendation?
My book recommendation is The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews.
Oh, I read that one.
It's a great book because it's story based as well as lesson based, and it's about leadership and decision making. If you're a history buff, it's great as well. It's a very quality read for even if you're trying to get a life lesson or actually try to enjoy a book. So I highly recommend that.
Love it. Excellent book recommendation. And the book that I'm going to recommend today is a classic by a classic legend motivational speaker, and that is Zig Ziglar. And the book's called See You at the Top, because you're climbing your way to the top.
Yes, absolutely.
So I thought it would be the perfect book to recommend. Awesome. Quote.
Wow. Quote. Let me see. I got one for you.
All right.
You ready? To lead others, you first have to lead yourself to success.
Love it. Love it, because you are the driver of the vehicle, right?
Yes.
Love it. What's your quote?
Be the hardest worker in the room.
Be the hardest worker in the room.
Got that from The Rock.
It's
It's one of my morning motivational searches, and so
Are
it's.
you a WWE fan?
Well, of course.
Do you
Are
wake
you
up
for
in the
real?
morning?
Absolutely.
See, we gotta go to the event together.
Anytime, man.
I'll let you borrow one of my belts.
I got my own.
You got your own? Oh, that's
I'm
gonna
the
be
champ.
fun.
You guys are kind of matching today
Yeah,
too.
well,
What's going on?
we
I didn't get the memo.
You didn't get the memo.
No.
Next week.
Next
Next
week.
All right, so now I gotta share a quote, and I think my quote this week is going to be, I gotta come up with a quote.
Come on, Chetty. All right, it's
I got one
ready.
for you.
Good.
Readers are leaders.
Readers are leaders. I like that
I
one.
like that one.
But I do want to give a quote, and the quote is, if you want to go for it, you have to grow for it. That's the quote of the week.
Very nice, yeah.
I like
I
Awesome.
like that.
Anything else?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very
It's
much
been an absolute
for being on the
pleasure.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on all
Pleasure.
your success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you did, here's what I want you to do. I want you to share this with a colleague, okay? I want you to share it with a family member. I want you to give us a like, give us a comment, give us a positive review, a 5-star rating, because that's what keeps the show going. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on another episode next week. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Real Estate Leading Edge podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with anyone you know who can benefit from the interview. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and a positive review. Thank you and see you next week.